That could be her thing. With that said, welcome to episode number 35 of Jay and Mark, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoy the show. I am the game. A triple
John Cena.
I
I figured I'd interrupt you with that because that's what they do. You want to see the PJ masks?
Not really. I know what it is.
Well, fine. Fuck you then.
Well, do you think a grown man wants to see a kid show, dude?
I watch them all the time.
Actually, when I was there, I watched it with Kenzie for quite some time when you guys were moving in, and we were waiting for the mover guys that you paid to quit moving so we can move the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sat there on the floor with her and watched that show for quite some time. I was like, this is better than most kids' show, but I mean, it's still a kid's show.
You know, it's a really good kids cartoon.
What's that?
Sophia the First. That is like watching, like remember. Like, I just drew a blank. But like the cartoon movies, like Disney's Beauty and the Beast or something, for example. When you first watch it, you're like, wow, this is really good. Like the story, the everything about it, you were just like, wow, that's really the way it's made is what I'm referring to.
Yes,
that cartoon is fucking awesome. It's like watching a half an hour
This is the one where she's
Disney
like
movie.
A princess, kind of?
Yeah.
I think I've seen toys for it at the store.
Yeah, Kenzie loves it.
Oh,
But,
of course she does. She's a little girl.
But anyway, that's
girl.
a good one. I forgot where I was going with all that. But, yeah, that's another good one. It's like really interesting storylines for. That's where I was going.
How old are you now? 38.
Yeah, so it's really interesting storylines for a kid's cartoon.
No, I understand.
It's pretty good.
Dude, I watched Teen Titans, like all of it.
I loved Teen Titans. The boys, Clayton and Cole, both loved Teen Titans, and then I ended up loving Teen Titans.
I watched Young Justice, which was like teenage Teen Titans, which is I guess still Teen Titans, but they didn't look like that. It was more like a normal DC cartoon, but it only went on for 2 seasons. But they're bringing that shit back on Netflix.
Well, now the Teen Titans that's on now,
it's weird.
It's the same characters, but it's like the Japanese anime type.
I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it either.
But so I mean, I watch cartoons and shit. You ever watch Rick and Morty?
You've shown me a couple of them.
Oh my god, I'm surprised you don't watch all. It's like a dark rated R.
Back to the Future.
Doc and Marty, but they're grandson and grandfather, and like Morty's like an alcoholic, and they do like crazy like interdimensional adventures, and they go to parallel worlds, and they deal with all kinds of crazy science shit. It's awesome. The guy who made that show Community, you ever watch Community? Made that show, Dan Harmon. Made Rick and Morty, along with the guy who does the voices for Rick and Morty.
Well,
so check out that shit, everyone, especially the kids shows, you adults out there.
Yeah, check out Sophia the First. It's awesome.
But again, I will say...
Some PJ Masks. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
This is episode number 35.
Can you tell I got 4 kids?
I can. And I am Mark, and this is Jay, and this is Jay and Mark.
Yep. I am Mark, and this is Jay, and this is Jay and Mark.
Episode, we're going to do something a little different. I have a list of 18 odd things about America that Americans haven't realized.
Okay.
Sounds interesting, right?
Sounds like it's going to make us both feel really dumb.
Number 1 is the tipping economy. Did you know that...
Are we talking about like when you go out to eat and you tip your server? Okay.
Now, America is the only place, one of the very few places in the world that actually do that.
Yeah, I did know that. I actually just read that.
Most European and other countries around the world, they
build it into your...
They include it in the bill.
Yeah.
which I think is amazing because I tip people, and I tend to tip well because I know they don't get paid shit.
Right. I agree. Unless my service is shitty. Here's my thing on tipping.
If the service is terrible, fuck them.
This is the one thing that drives me absolutely out of my mind when I go out to eat. If you're ever my server, do not let my drink get empty. That irritates the shit out of me. That's your job, to make sure that I have something to drink and I get my food.
Yeah.
If my cup's empty, I will intentionally set it on the outside edge of the table so that they can see.
Apparently you use your magic with condensation.
Thanks for ruining that. I will put my cup on the outside edge of the table so that the waiter or waitress can see that it's empty. First of all, I shouldn't have to do that.
No.
But that drives me nuts, and that will lower your tip.
No. Any kind of shittiness, any kind of attitude, it'll lower your tip. Like, if my order gets fucked up, I tend to blame that more on the chef. Because, I told the bitch, I'm going to tell her. Well, it could be a guy. But I told the person that, I told that bitch.
I told that motherfucker.
That I didn't want no damn lettuce.
I told that motherfucker.
But, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the kind of guy that's like, I want this. I want to know this with this. You know what I mean? And I'll if I have
like,
to,
motherfucker, this ain't Burger King.
I'll point on the menu.
You get it our way.
See what I'm talking about and shit. So I like that. They should just give them a normal salary, or give them a somewhat decent salary, and then just include the tip in the fucking price. You know what I mean? That's a much smoother.
You think when Trump eventually deports all the Mexicans, El Campesinos will go out of business?
No, because I don't think even if he did deport illegal immigrants, not everybody in there's illegal. And
I'll bet you some of them are, though.
I just said not everybody in there's illegal.
I know, but I'll bet you some of them are. I'll bet you more than you think. Especially the ones that when you say, I want A, and they bring you E because they don't speak English, I'll bet you those ones.
That's my favorite fucking place.
It's my favorite place, too.
Don't give them any reason to fuck my shit up or piss in my beans.
My favorite thing, I get the same thing every time we go there. I get the steak fajita quesadilla.
If it's Taco Tuesday, I get tacos. If it's any other days, it's between a beef tip quesadilla or the vegetarian E. Because every now and then I just want a cheese enchilada, a bean burrito, and a fucking cheese quesadilla.
Yeah. Every time I go in there, steak fajita quesadilla.
All right, number 2 on the list.
Okay.
Is an early dinner. Most countries don't eat dinner at 6 or 6:30. They'll eat it later in the day, like 8 o'clock, 9.
That is so unhealthy.
That is not. That makes more fucking sense than, like, most people don't go to bed until like 10, 11, 12. Some people stay up even later than that.
Yeah, but don't you want to give your food time to digest? And
what I'm saying is, you eat at 8 or 9 o'clock, you go to bed a couple hours later, you're good to. It has digested.
Okay.
I don't know. They also tend to drink with dinner as well, which I think helps digestion.
I'm down with that.
But like mostly wine and stuff. But I know like Italy, a lot of European countries, they eat later and.
Give me a steak fajita quesadilla and a nice glass of red wine.
Because I mean, think about it. 6 o'clock. You go to bed at 10. That's like a bunch of time you're not eating, and then there's like 8 hours of sleep or whatever you're not eating. That's why you're so fucking hungry in the morning. Unless you're me, I just drink coffee and then eat dinner. You know what I mean? Maybe every now and then I'll eat earlier in the day, but I guess that one's not. Most Americans probably actually realize.
I wake up in the morning. Yeah, I wake up in the morning. I get my coffee and then I'm into the bathroom.
Coffee for me is
out with
like
the old, in with the new.
Number 3 on the list. If anybody's wondering, this is something I found on Facebook. I don't frequent this website at all now that I think about it, but it's on fashionbeans.com. So if you want to read the actual article, you can. But this is where I'm stealing all this from. Well, not really. It's just the topics we're getting from it, and then we're giving our own discussion on it. But the number 3 is the Star Spangled Everything, which not many other countries put their fucking flag on everything. We put our flags on fucking party hats,
Everything.
on cups, on tablecloths, on our fucking boxer shorts, on our bodies.
You know why?
We spray paint our yards to be American
'Cause
flags.
we're proud to be an American.
But yet, you're not actually allowed to do that. Did you know that? You're not supposed to print the American flag on things like that. You're not even supposed to let the fucking flag itself touch the ground. You're supposed to strip it star by star and stripe by stripe and burn it. If the fucking flag touches the ground, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what I was taught in school anyway. There's a whole bunch of fucking like strict regulations on flags, the American flag. But yet you're allowed to, they allow everyone to print it on fucking everything.
Right.
And just degrade the hell out of it. They've even altered it and made it like different and weird. Moving on, I suppose.
So other countries aren't proud of their flag, or not, well, I shouldn't say it that way. I shouldn't say it that way. I'm sure they're proud of their flag, but other countries aren't.
It's not that they're not proud of their flag. I think it's just more that they don't debase it like that. They don't. It's. I can't think of the word.
I know. Yeah, I think I know what you mean though.
They hold it more highly than that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't put fucking the American flag on toilet paper. You don't put the fucking American flag on, party plates and shit. That's just kind of degrading.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I mean, people have fought and died for that shit.
Right.
And you're eating cake off it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Some people may not see it like
Speaking
that.
of which, just real quick side note, but speaking of which, I saw another thing on Facebook too. They colorized a lot of the pictures that were taken during the Civil War. That was some cool shit.
They do that with a lot of old pictures, like throughout the world, like famous pictures.
Yeah,
you've known for being that are black and white, and they colorize it gives it a whole new.
I was just looking at it the other day. It was really cool.
Seeing Abraham Lincoln in fucking colors, crazy, dude.
It really is. There was a picture of him and whatever general it was,
how bright
sitting
colors
inside of a tent.
Actually were. Well, obviously these are all like, you don't know if these colors were actually like that. These are just what people did to it. Like, that's so yellow because this guy in New York, last week made it so yellow.
Right.
But, number 4, ads for legal services. You don't see people.
Better Call Saul.
Exactly. You don't see Better Saul. You don't see Better Call Saul on fucking benches and billboards and
right.
magazines, and you don't see ads for stuff like that because many nations don't allow them to do that. They don't allow them to advertise on TV or television and stuff because they should seek out
to make their monies.
They should only seek out legal help when they need it.
Right.
That's the way they look at it. They should. It's personal.
Right.
Which I guess I could still say personal, but I mean, they don't like. What's the word when they solicit? You know what I mean? They're there.
Ambulance chasers.
They're there when you need them. Yeah, they're more like a medical service or a fucking.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it says a billboard. It says, arrested? 1-855 WTF Popo. But yeah, that shit's all over the damn place here.
Yeah, it is.
Another thing that pisses me off, and this is number 5 on the list. I don't know if we'll do all 18. I'll just do the ones that I find most interesting. But is sales tax. We are, if not the only, one of the very few countries to not include tax in the price. You don't know what the price of anything you buy is until you get up to the counter and they ring it up.
Right.
Because they don't add the sales tax to the price. In Europe and other European and Asian countries and shit like that, they do.
Right.
What you see on the tag is what you're paying. They include that in the price. Why the fuck don't they do that? Why don't we do that?
I don't know. That's a good question.
But another thing they do is they tax you for things that shouldn't be taxed.
Like what?
Consumable items. They tax you for consumable items.
Where?
All over the fucking place. How many times you bought, a soda? It's $2 for $2. You're paying more than $2 fucking dollars.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Anything.
Yeah.
You go anywhere, dude. Damn near, like, very rarely do they not charge you sales tax for consumable items.
Right.
Why?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. But maybe Trump will do something about that.
That's a whole nother topic. This is just sales tax in general, not being on the price tag.
Right.
You buy something for $6.99, you're gonna pay over $7 fucking dollars for it.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Why don't you just put $7.26 there instead of $6.99 plus tax?
Right.
Because the tax fucking changes all the time.
Yeah, because my calculator don't know what tax is.
I don't know. It's fucking dumb.
You're right.
Do your fucking job and tell me what this costs.
Right.
And if it's consumable, don't fucking tax me for it.
Right. Motherfuckers.
And if anybody has an explanation for that, for the consumable items, please let us know in the comments. Scott. Or anyone.
That's funny. Estelle, maybe you? No?
Most other countries say that Americans are loud and proud, which I don't feel like I'm one of those.
That's
Americans.
Bullshit. America.
I think it's because we're a totally different culture. We're all kind of brainwashed to think that we're the greatest in the fucking world. We all live through our televisions and our screens and shit. We're all just kind of arrogant. And I mean, we are, not all of us. Like, I'm definitely not that person that's loud and proud about, rah, America. I'm not that guy. I'm not even kind of that guy. Not that I hate my country or anything. I mean, I don't.
But we all know where we live.
I know. And I mean, I don't
and
feel
we were lucky as fuck to be born here.
I don't feel like I'm any better than anybody because I live here.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was born here or whatever.
Right.
Shit. I don't hate America, but I hate a lot of Americans. And I mean, I feel like it's not just Americans. People are fucking assholes all over the place. But
yep. Except for Canada. They're so nice, eh?
But I think we all kind of realize that. That's not something Americans don't realize.
That Canada's awesome?
No, about Americans being loud and proud. The typical arrogant, loud American.
Right.
Something else that they do, that we do, that other countries don't fucking understand is college sports as professional entertainment. They don't understand why amateurs...
Why Ohio State versus Michigan is such a huge deal.
Yeah, or I would even they would probably even see Maslin and McKinley being fucking retarded. You know what I mean? Because I mean, these people aren't professionals.
Right. They're
probably
kids.
good at what they do, but they just don't like. They watch the pros. That's what's important to them. Like, to them, watching that's like watching your little kid's fucking Little League game.
Right. And sometimes it is.
But I mean, LeBron James. You know what I mean? That's why we do it.
Right.
That, and we're kind of fucking obsessed with that shit. I'm not really a sports guy, so that's kind of hard for me to understand too, but I don't even like watching professional sports, really, other than like professional wrestling or maybe UFC.
Yeah. Some people think I'm weird because I like to watch golf, but I like golf.
But I mean, sports are fun to play. I just don't particularly like watching them, especially if I don't really care enough about it to give a shit about anybody. Like, when LeBron James is doing his thing in the beginning, you know, when he was this huge star and he was on the rise and shit, that was kind of interesting to watch. Basketball in general, I think, is more fun to watch than most other things. That and hockey, because you're like in the action. They're like right there in there. You're close up.
Speaking of LeBron James, something that I just noticed the other day. Have you watched that show called The Wall?
No.
It's that game show. It's Chris Hardwick is the host.
Oh, I've heard about it. Yeah.
And it's awesome show. Really awesome show. Or game show. But I was watching the opening credits on it where they show like producers, executive producers, this person, that person, host, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
LeBron James is an executive producer of that.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he's produced a couple other things, like movies and TV shows.
Motherfucker's got so much sports money, he don't even know what to do with it anymore. He's like, I'll just start producing shows. Really? Pretty sure you were just in college a couple of years ago. You fuck.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
But whatever.
LeBron, I mean, that's kind of like investing.
It's amazing how much
like a rapper
money
makes a clothing line.
These motherfuckers make for playing a game.
Yeah, for having fun. Something that they would probably do anyway.
Yeah. Millions of dollars. And
but
now
it's not for just for playing a game, it's for being good at that game. For being good. Because what it is they're not paying you to play, they're paying you to win.
Right. Well,
that's why LeBron James makes more than most other fucking professional players.
I still think it's silly.
Continuing on with the subject matter for this episode, another thing that Americans do that foreigners do not understand is the culture of the free refill, especially for things that are corn syrup laden and extremely unhealthy for you, and that is widely known.
I'm going to go back to my comment. If when I'm at El Campesino and my cup hits the edge of that table, that motherfucker better get refilled.
No, it's not the free refill they don't understand. They don't understand why if it is widely known and it's printed in like government, like regulatory papers and stuff, like it's widely known in studies that corn syrup and sugar and like soda and stuff like that is so bad for you that some countries don't even allow corn syrup. You know what I mean? That you're not allowed to use corn syrup in your fucking shit. They don't understand why, if we know all this, why do they give you free refills, giant sizes for consumptions of things, and make it so cheap? You know what I mean? I mean, if it's a free refill, they're basically giving it to you. You know what I mean? They want you to drink this shit.
Right.
What they don't understand is why, if we know how fucking terrible it is,
why aren't we doing something about it?
Why is it allowed to be? And most people are like, freedom.
America.
I mean, no, freedom is right. You have the right to buy that and consume it, but why are you making it so fucking easy?
Yeah, no, it's the same with cigarettes and alcohol. You know cigarettes are going to eventually kill you. You know that alcohol is eventually going to give you liver cancer.
As I'm about to light up a cigarette.
That's not a terrible idea. But yet, it's legal.
Yeah, no. And I mean, what it is bad decisions. But a lot of these countries ban this sort of thing because they have done studies and they're like, they're making these choices for the country, which I guess takes away some freedom. But they're not telling you to stop drinking it. We're just not going to allow you to make it so terribly.
Right.
Like organic stuff is better for you than genetically modified stuff.
Right.
People will be like, fuck genetically modified organisms.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some countries don't allow that shit. Everything's organic.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't take as long, or it doesn't come as fast, and it's not as...
That's what she said.
...productive and shit, but it's better for you. And cancer rates have gone down and shit. You know what I mean? That's what they're talking about. But at the same time...
Well, once the aliens get here, we're not going to have to worry about cancer anyway.
Unless the aliens have adapted to cancer.
Well, they're going to have technology. I see cheeseburgers.
The next topic on this list was supersizing it all, which is kind of the same thing, I think. They're giving you giant portions of these terrible things. And flaunting it. They put out commercials and stuff that make it look so perfect and juicy and delectable, but you get it.
Mm-hmm. That McChicken does not look like it does in the picture.
Another thing, this is something we might not realize. I'm not even a really big fan of these anyways, but most other countries don't eat pickles on things like we do. They just eat pickles.
Oh, man, I love me some pickles. My buddy Tim, though, hates pickles. He said he'd rather have someone shit in his mouth than eat a pickle.
Not a big fan of pickles. I remember I liked them when I was a kid, but something happened that made me not like it. I don't know what it is. But
I love pickles. I love pickles. I love relish.
I love banana peppers, like pickled banana peppers, like
Yeah.
stuff you put on sandwiches and shit.
You know, I heard that Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Did he?
Yeah.
Were they banana peppers?
I don't know. I wonder how the other countries feel about that.
Another thing that foreigners don't understand about Americans is the state of our public bathrooms.
Oh, they're filthy. They're
Oh,
gross.
Absolutely atrocious. Not only that, but our toilets are weird. They don't understand. Like, you know, the whole squatty potty thing?
Yeah.
They don't understand why we make these giant thrones to sit on that actually hinder our bowel movements.
Well, I will
instead
say
of
this.
actually using a natural way of doing things.
I will say this. When I was remodeling the house that we're flipping right now, I intentionally looked for a toilet that was lower to the ground because I read a story about
Dude, that's true.
how it's easier. It puts you in a better position, and you're not clamping shit off.
If you just, like, for instance, let's say you're having trouble pushing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Smell what I'm stepping in?
Mm-hmm.
And you're pushing for a minute and just nothing's moving. If you just squat down like this a little bit,
Open that shit up.
it'll just start moving on its own. So, but the thing is, you have to like push a little bit before it'll start doing that. But that's because you're actually working against gravity. Once you're flattening it out, you know what I mean? When you're squatting like that,
We gotta
gravity's working with it and shit.
Oh,
No
we got to
pun
stop this conversation. It's
And,
literally there's a rumble in the Bronx.
All right, but that's something they don't understand is the state of our public restrooms. Why
My body's saying, "Hey, is it time?"
it's a place that needs to be clean. It's a place that we need. They don't understand why people just piss and shit all like they never used a bathroom in their life.
You know what? I actually remember reading another story about, I don't remember what country it's in, but I think, this is going to sound terrible, I think it was like Muslim culture or whatever. I don't know that it's Muslims. I'm just, for some reason, that's what came to mind. But there's cultures or countries where they don't even like using toilet paper because they feel like you're just smearing that shit all over your ass. Rather, it's not even actually cleaning you up.
No, I mean, I see what they're saying.
So they don't use toilet paper in some cultures.
But at the same time, I think, well, not wiping your ass is even dirtier, right?
You would think.
Like, you would think if you just didn't wipe, like, yeah, you might be smearing it, but there's less shit on your ass.
Right.
But if you're not wiping it, all that shit's just still there. Unless you got, like, a clean cut. You know what I mean? And
And I'll tell you what, there's not very often I get a nice clean cut.
or you're like holding your butt cheeks apart so it's not touching or something. But like we buy those.
The hardest part for
flushable
me,
wipe things.
the hardest part for me is like right after I poop, I immediately just start to pee. But when I poop, I got to get my dick out of the way so it's not dangling down in
that's
there.
Weird. Like I have to pee before I can. If I have to pee, I gotta pee before I poop.
Well, I pee before I poop too.
Gotta pee before you poop.
But for some reason, the pressure of having to poop, once that's gone, then I pee again. But
that poop pressure, man.
there again,
That poop pressure.
you
pressure
just
poop.
totally glossed over a joke.
No, I heard you.
Yeah. Talking about having to move.
No, I get it.
Okay.
All
right, next.
But yeah, they don't understand the state of our public restrooms and how we don't ever give a shit. But I must say, from driving to and from California as many times as we have in our life, by far the best public restrooms you can find on the road is at the Flying J's. It's like
The truck.
room
I was
to
going to say
yourself.
the truck stops, but yeah.
They're it's not like there's just a half a wall here and a half a wall here where it's open above and open below. It's literally
You're in like a whole
little
room. Yep.
And there's a door and there's a base at the bottom and there's like you're in this room. There's a fan of shit. Hell yeah, I can go in there, shit my ass off and not have a care in the world.
Yeah.
You feel secure. Anyway, so anybody out on the road, no Flying J's. All you foreigners, Flying J's are what you want.
Yeah.
Another thing is slang is very different there than it is here. You could say something here over there that they say over there and it means we won't understand it at all or it'll mean something completely fucking different and vice versa.
Does it give examples? I mean, I get what you're saying, but now I'm curious as to like what kind of things.
But they give the example of hangout. Hangout, I guess, is not a term they use out over there. That might mean like whip your dick out or something. I don't know. And like a lot of texting abbreviations and terms and stuff don't translate in other countries because that's probably is a word there, and they're just like that makes no fucking sense.
Right.
He wants to go to the loo. You know? Anyway, I guess that's not a great example. France hates easy cheese.
I hate easy cheese.
I think that's pretty I like easy cheese.
That shit's nasty.
I mean, it's not great, but it's good for like cheese and crackers. But it makes sense. France is kind of like a wine and cheese country. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Not only that, but it probably goes along with that's increasingly unhealthy for you.
Yeah.
Another thing is we put sugar in fucking everything. In our bread. McDonald's puts sugar in their salad. We put sugar in everything just to ensure
they put sugar in their salads?
Yeah. Wow. McDonald's salads have sugar content on their labels.
Wow.
Just to make it taste good. So no
that's
matter what, it
crazy.
tastes good. We just put some more sugar on it. It'll be fucking tasty. Everybody thinks I'm hating on America right now, probably.
No. I doubt it. It's interesting news.
Oh. Fucking foreigners don't know why we refrigerate butter.
Because that shit'll melt? Well, actually, no.
No, it doesn't. It just, butter just kind of stays like that. Like, even in...
I know, yeah.
Well, I don't think we always did.
Even the real butter, the stick butter, it just gets soft. It doesn't.
That's why they make those little butter containers and shit. It just sits there so, like, stuff doesn't get in the butter or on the butter or not. Like, you really don't have to refrigerate butter. I think we just do it because...
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it makes it last longer.
Because America.
But butter and cheese and stuff like that lasts for fucking ever anyway. Like, it doesn't last forever, but I mean, it lasts longer than most things. Because cheese is basically bad already, you know what I mean? It's already, like, aged and moldy and shit. That's what it is.
Don't ruin cheese for me.
You didn't know that?
No, I knew that, but I don't want to talk about it.
Huh. But that is the end of the list, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I didn't do all 18 because some of them really weren't that interesting. And some of them just kind of were the same thing as another one. But all of those things, the things I mentioned, I thought were strange.
I wonder what their chicken nuggets are like in other countries. Because I know I won't eat chicken nuggets here.
I'll eat chicken nuggets. I won't eat McDonald's chicken nuggets or chicken nuggets I can look at and be like, that is not chicken.
Right. Well, I saw that video years ago of how chicken nuggets were made, and it was titled The Pink Slime. Remember that?
Yeah, it's basically just like a meat liquid that they harden and like fry.
Yeah. Well, they literally just shove the whole thing into this grinder and grind it up, and then like the McDonald's chicken nuggets. They called it pink slime because it's literally everything gets ground up, and then they actually bleach that shit to make it white again.
Well, they do the same thing with flour. Like I remember one time.
But I won't eat chicken nuggets anymore.
An ex-girlfriend told me that she was talking to somebody, and when she said, somebody told me that there was, like, the person said to her that, like, somebody was trying to tell me that there's fucking bleach in flour. And she, like, laughed or whatever and was talking to her and basically had to explain to her that, like, dude, it says fucking bleached flour right on the fucking thing. Like, even... like people who think diet soda doesn't have any fat in it because there's no sugar or there's because it says no fat or whatever, but like sugar when it's digested turns into fat.
Yeah.
So like any not diet soda because there's no sugar in soda, but like sodas in general, things that say fat free on it, if there's sugar in it, there's fucking fat in it.
Right. I get what you're saying.
And like a lot of people don't realize that calcium and I think iron cancel each other out. So every time you look at a label and it says 2% calcium, 2% iron, there's no fucking calcium in there, and there's no iron in there. Because for every part calcium, for every part iron that there is calcium, they just cancel it out. So if there's, let's say, it's 3% iron, 2% calcium, only 1% of that iron you're getting.
That's interesting.
Another thing people don't realize is that a Bud Light has 0.9 grams of protein. So you're getting just 0.1 under a gram of protein. If I'm doing the fractions right, it might be 0.09, but I think it's 0.9. Oddly enough.
Well,
but you ever saw that meme on Facebook where it shows like a bowl and this machine is pushing out this pink slime, and it says like, when people, or something about like, this is why I don't eat McDonald's chicken nuggets or whatever, and then somebody posted a picture or whatever underneath it, and he said, bitch, that's the Tubby Custard machine, and it's a picture of one of the Teletubbies next to this exact same machine and it's pushing out pink Tubby Custard. That always makes me think
I
when
haven't
people
seen
bring
that
up
one,
the
but that's
pink
funny.
slime thing. But they even did a pink slime thing in Fallout too. That was pretty funny. Well, just they had pink slime in there that you can find, and it had like certain attributes and shit, and I always thought it was funny. But yeah, I guess that topic didn't last as long as I thought it would.
It's still interesting though.
But I want to see the new Logan movie. Do you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Wolverine. Rated R. And I don't know if it's the same thing as what we watched before with the Deadpool teaser. But I know, spoiler alert, if anybody doesn't want to know this, pause for a moment or cover your ears. But they said that the hidden, or the after credit scene for Logan is a Deadpool scene. Like promoting Deadpool 2.
Oh,
now,
really?
I don't know if it was that thing we saw, and Ryan Reynolds was like, well, here's this, which I think would kind of spoil the end credit scene. I mean, Logan only came out like 2-3 weeks ago or something. But, yeah, I'm going to go see Logan on Saturday, I think, me and Emily, and I hear it's fucking great. At this point, the time this episode comes out, I think I will have already seen Logan.
Now he's supposed to be like older, right?
Well, yeah, this is the last Wolverine movie. Well, that Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine.
Yeah.
It's like the end of that whole story for X-Men. I think from now on it's going to be like an X-Men reboot, and they might incorporate Deadpool in it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. But I hope it's not the end of the X-Men, because I love the X-Men movies, with the exception of 2 of them, which is X-Men Origins Wolverine, and X3 was okay, but it was not great. But the cool thing about the X-Men franchise is not the last X-Men movie, Apocalypse, but the one before that, Days of Future Past, basically undid everything that happened before that. So that third movie and that Wolverine movie that you didn't like now never happened because of what happened in Days of Future Past, because it dealt with time travel.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? You'd like those movies. Are good. Like in that one I'm talking about, they go back to the 70s. Wolverine goes back to the 70s, and he meets young Xavier and young, like, everybody. And then in Apocalypse, it takes place in the 80s. It's pretty cool. And Sansa Stark plays Jean Grey.
What?
Yep. Yep. And the guy from American Horror Story plays Quicksilver. Evan Peters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I like him better as Quicksilver than the guy who was in Avengers, who's the guy from Kick-Ass and other shit. Which Evan Peters was also in Kick-Ass, the first one, but he wasn't a big role. Yeah.
Interesting.
I want to get your opinion on something, and you can kind of give me your opinion on it a little bit, and it's nothing serious, but because you were into it back in the day, you just recently watched something with me that it's kind of relevant.
Cocaine?
No.
Oh.
I don't think he ever did cocaine back in the day. That was my thing. Whoa.
Oh.
Chill.
Okay.
But
so meth?
No.
Oh.
So
fuck.
Over the past couple months, past few pay-per-views, Goldberg has returned to wrestling in WWE. Now, the thing about Goldberg is he was always that monster that was like undefeatable. Like back in the day, if you remember in WCW when he was around, his matches didn't last very long at all, with the exception of a few who, like the Diamond Dallas Page match he had. They had a couple matches, but one in particular I know about was a really good fucking match, and I think Diamond Dallas Page, I think, was the guy to beat him finally. But I always loved DDP. But he was known for coming in, squashing people in under a minute or so, and being undefeated. Went on and on and on. Now the thing is his record was very exaggerated over time. Like 1 week, at one appearance he would be 15-0 or 25-0 or whatever, and then the following Thursday or Monday or whenever the next show was, he was at 35-0 or 41-0. You know what I mean? And when did that happen? You know what I mean? Like over time, it was exaggerated, to make it seem like more. It was kayfabe. They were being wrestling in the '90s. Not only that, but they had to compete with like Stone Cold and WWF at the time and shit. So that's what made wrestling so fucking great back then. You know what I mean? Because there was competition. Once the competition was bought out, it kind of went downhill because they didn't have anything to prove anymore.
Right.
Then that's kind of when I stopped watching. But recently Goldberg has come back, and they're kind of doing that with him again, but just like to the oomph degree,
5,000-0.
With no, not that, but like he's unstoppable beast, and he's got this streak going. He wrestled Brock Lesnar. I can't remember, a few years back, 2000, somewhere between like 2011 or something and 2000, I don't know, somewhere in there, in like the 2012 era range. And that match went on for quite some time. It was boring as shit. They kind of just walked around the ring and, psyched each other out and yelled at each other and shit. Like, ah! Goldberg does his little fucking T-Rex thing. And, Brock does this fucking I sweat a lot and my face gets red thing. And, that shit. And eventually they'd do something and they'd stop and they'd walk around each other. It was boring as shit. And then Goldberg won in the end. So that's number one win. Brock versus Goldberg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then didn't happen again for a while. Wasn't no Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Goldberg kind of hated Vince McMahon for a little while, and then he came back obviously because of money or something. Or maybe it's the fact that Stephanie and Shane and Triple H are kind of running things now. But so it was Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg at SummerSlam.
So that was a real feud that he had with Vince.
I think, because for a while there he was like, I'll never work for Vince McMahon again, or like, fuck Vince McMahon.
Okay.
But for a while there he was trolling Brock Lesnar online, saying, Brock who? And he would blow his nose in like a Brock Lesnar t-shirt and stuff. And we were like, oh, so they're going to set us up for something else. And then at, I can't remember what event it was, but it was Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. And everybody was like, oh, it's going to be so fucking awesome, even though the first match kind of sucked. But Goldberg looks better than ever. He's in great fucking shape. You saw him.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar's still Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar for the last 15 years or so has been Brock fucking Lesnar, the monster, the beast incarnate, the fucking Brock fucking Lesnar. Goldberg comes back after being gone for however long, and although he looks great and he's Goldberg, he's fucking Goldberg and he's Brock Lesnar. Goldberg faces Brock Lesnar, beats him in no fucking time at all. Spear, jackhammer, done. Beats Brock. Look, Brock sells the fuck out of it. Like, Brock is getting paid for this, obviously, because he's making himself look like he just got rocked.
Right.
And, which kills his credibility. Everything he's built up for the last 15 years, this old man took you down. Brock Lesnar's no youngin', but he's not fucking 50 years old.
Right.
I think Goldberg's like 49 going on 50.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, you thought he was older than that?
No, I didn't realize he was that old.
Goldberg, yeah. And Brock Lesnar, I think, is like going on 40, maybe.
Every time I hear...
I don't know his age exactly, but...
Every time I hear Goldberg, for some reason, I always think of Gold Dust. How gay that son of a bitch was.
Yeah, Goldust is awesome now. He's a legend. Yeah, he was very, very gay back in the day. Now he's just funny.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
But, and he beats him. No time at all. Rocks Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar sells the fuck out of it. Now, I said for the longest time, because... Okay, now, before I go there, I'll continue, but Royal Rumble comes along. Brock Lesnar and Goldberg are both in it. Brock Lesnar comes out, destroys half the people in the ring, throws them half of them out. You know what I mean? Somebody else comes out, Brock Lesnar immediately throws them out. I think maybe one more person came out and the same thing happened or whatever. Maybe not. Maybe it was just one person, and then Goldberg comes out. Now, as soon as that happened, Goldberg goes in there, spears him, throws him out. Brock Lesnar. Now, maybe Brock Lesnar took Goldberg lightly the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's wrestling. But, I mean, his whole excuse was, well, we took Goldberg lightly. You know what I mean? We thought he was an old man. That's what Paul Heyman was saying, because Paul Heyman talks for Brock Lesnar now. Brock Lesnar barely talks.
Yeah.
So much so that Brock Lesnar got in the camera a couple weeks ago on Raw and just looked at the camera while Heyman kind of peeked around behind him and spoke for him. And that's how much Brock Lesnar doesn't talk anymore. Brock Lesnar's married to Sable, by the way. Do you know that?
Sable?
Yeah.
Really? I remember when she posed in Playboy.
Dude, she still looks fucking great.
Yeah?
Hasn't aged a day.
She had huge nipples.
No, those were black hands on her tits. I'm just kidding. If you don't remember that. When she took her shirt off and all she had was black hands. Black paint on her tits.
Now I'm talking about in Playboy, her nipples were like huge. Not anyway. Not like the spot, the areola around it. I mean the nipple itself was
9-inch nipples.
Yeah, yeah.
Trent Reznor's first band.
Nice.
Now rocks him, throws him out. I think it might have maybe two spears, but fucking one spear throws Brock Lesnar out, if I remember correctly. Then can't remember who. I think it might have been Undertaker that eliminated Goldberg. Can't remember who eliminated Goldberg, but rocks him again. Maybe he took him lightly the first time. What was the deal this time, Brock? You were in the ring already, if I remember correctly. You had the high ground, son.
Mm-hmm.
Killing his credibility. Now, I haven't watched Raw from last night, but I'm told that Brock Lesnar showed up and F5'd Goldberg, which is his
Spoiler alert. So
finally, Brock Lesnar did something. You know what I mean? To Goldberg.
Right.
But, so, in the meantime, Brock Lesnar and Goldberg are supposed to meet again at WrestleMania, which is April 2nd.
Maybe they should just squash their beef and become a tag team and take out everybody.
No. The thing is, though, he just faced, in the meantime, between WrestleMania, he faced Kevin Owens at Fastlane, which just happened on Sunday, for the Universal title. I did not expect Goldberg to win, but he did. Goldberg is the new Universal Champion.
How could you not expect Goldberg to win against Kevin Owens?
I didn't expect them to give Goldberg the title.
Oh, I see.
Goldberg now, for the next month, is the champion. Is he going to defend it? Is he just going to squash people for the next month?
He's going to defend it, and then he's going to get his ass beat by Brock Lesnar for the belt. And then that's going to lead into a whole different feud.
The other reason I thought they weren't going to give... Well, I thought they weren't going to give Goldberg the title just because he's Goldberg, and he's not really a full-timer. I think a full-timer should have the title.
Mm-hmm.
Or unless you're going to be there to defend it and you're going to go part-time until your title reign's over, you should be able to defend it. So Goldberg needs to be able to at least wrestle a few more times against other people. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I thought what I thought was going to happen was I thought that because a week or two prior, Kevin Owens turned on Jericho. And they staged a breakup between the two best friends there before so that nobody would see Jericho coming to come out and help Kevin Owens and help him retain the title earlier. So I thought, oh, they just stepped their game up and made it look totally legit this time. And it would be a very Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho thing to do to fool us all again. When Jericho came out, what happened was what you saw. Kevin Owens just kind of walked around the ring forever before the bell even rang and tried to psych out Goldberg.
Right.
He eventually got in and was like, all right, let's do this. Ring the bell. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready now. And then immediately, Chris Jericho's music hits. Kevin Owens just looks like in surprise. Goldberg fucking spears him. Then Goldberg fucking jackhammers him. And then he wins the title. Now, what I thought was going to happen was Chris Jericho was going to come out and it was going to turn. You were going to think that he was going to fuck up Kevin Owens, but it was actually going to help Kevin Owens, and they were just duping us all again, which is not what happened.
Right.
So exactly what everybody kind of thought was going to happen happened. They gave him the title. Now, if he would have lost, it would have made Brock Lesnar look even more like a bitch, right?
Right.
If Goldberg would have lost
to Kevin Owens without...
If Kevin Owens would have even lasted longer than Brock Lesnar, it would have killed Brock Lesnar's credibility even more. I would think.
That's the way it sounds to me.
So, when they meet at WrestleMania, if he is still the Universal Champion, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar would have to win, right? Because are they going to just keep going and going and going? You know what I mean?
Right. He's got to win eventually.
If he doesn't, they're just fucking burying Brock Lesnar.
Right.
I mean, the dude's legitimately beating people down.
Right. Well, and
do you think Goldberg would last a second in a real fight with Brock Lesnar?
They need to bring Brock Lesnar's whatever back because the dude's probably going to die soon.
His reputation
from all the steroid use, and you don't want to leave that kind of legacy. Let him at least be a winner.
I think he's got too much money to die from steroid use. He probably knows what he's doing at this point.
I don't know. That dude is way too big.
They say he has asthma, and technically that's a steroid. But I would think that Brock Lesnar would win at WrestleMania, and it would have to be at least a decent match, or it would have to be something to fucking boost him up again, because he is, as of right now, he's still Brock Lesnar, but he can't beat Goldberg, a man that's got at least 10 years on him, if not more, a man that's not nearly as big as him, and a man that I have no doubt would lose to him in a real fight.
Right. Well, we had talked about that before.
I mean, kayfabe is one thing, but this is just you're mixing kayfabe and reality together, and it's just not meshing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I'm on the edge of my seat, and I'm watching the fuck out of all of this.
Right.
It's working. You know what I mean? But if it continues on the way it is, I'm not gonna be able to suspend belief for much longer.
Right.
So I guess what I'm asking you, the thing I wanted to get my opinion on is, what do you think they would...
I think...
How do you think this is going to turn out? And if it turns out the way I don't want it to, if it turns out that Brock Lesnar just keeps getting squashed, what the fuck does that mean for Brock Lesnar?
Well, okay, here's my thought.
Are they just...
Based on everything that you just said, I think that Goldberg won the Universal title, and because he's not there all the time, I think that they're setting it up for another match between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar is going to finally beat his ass and take the title from him.
But the thing is, Brock Lesnar's a part-timer too.
Doe.
Brock Lesnar's actually there less than Goldberg.
Well,
not only that, but Brock Lesnar got in trouble after the last time he fought in the UFC when he fought Mark Hunt, and he beat him. Mark Hunt's still bitching about this. The fact that he tested positive for steroids afterwards.
I think he should change his name to Mike.
I've made a couple Mike Hunt jokes myself about him. But not about him, but I just, you know what I mean. Now, the reason that had no effect on Brock Lesnar whatsoever, the fact that he didn't pass that drug test, is because he was done with the UFC, and he's only a part-timer at WWE, and the wellness policy, which is basically just a drug policy for WWE, doesn't apply to part-timers.
Oh, snap.
He would have to clean up, or if he hasn't already, he would have to stop doing steroids to be a full-timer, I would think. Right. Unless they're just going to make an exception for him because he's Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Which I guess is a possibility. But I would feel that would kind of be bullshit. And if I was somebody on the main roster working every fucking day, I would be pissed about that.
Yeah.
I can't smoke weed, but Brock Lesnar could fucking help his career by making himself bigger and bigger when that's exactly what fucking Vince McMahon loves, is giant fucking men.
Right.
He wants to have the biggest. He wants to have the gods of the world fighting for. That's why he got that. You ever saw The Longest Yard? Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
The remake of the old Burt Reynolds movie, and Burt Reynolds was in it. You know that big fucking Indian dude?
Yeah.
The Great Khali is what they called him in WWE. Dude couldn't wrestle for shit. Dude could barely fucking stand and walk and shit. He was so big. But yet he would wrestle, and the only reason he was there, and he was a main, upper level main event guy, was because he was fucking massive. So, I don't know. This whole thing with Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, I don't get it, and I hope it all pays off. I hope in the end it makes sense. I just don't see how.
Well, I'm sure that it will.
Unless Brock Lesnar just destroys Goldberg all of a sudden, I don't see what the whole point was. Like, even if he does that, and it pays off for Brock Lesnar in the end, what the fuck was the point?
Well, no, I think...
Just to give Goldberg another good, streak run before he's done?
No, I think it's exactly what I said. I think that Goldberg won that title so that way they can have that big match between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar.
For a title.
A title, and then it's going to be Brock Lesnar's big moment against Goldberg. He's going to take the title from him, and yay.
Because, they haven't announced anything else real big, but...
And then they're going to hug and squash their beef and then suck each other's dicks.
Wow.
They're going to be best friends after that. And then they're going to become a tag team, and they're going to destroy everybody, and then they're going to retire. That's what I think.
Well, with that said, we can call it an episode number 35. I also see my camera blinking, so we're going to run out of time soon. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry if this episode sucked or you didn't enjoy it. We're trying. We'll try to be more prepared for the next one.
We'll try
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, especially subscribe on YouTube so we could reach 100 subscribers.
Yep.
With that said, I am Mark, and this is Jay. And until next time.
This is Jay. Until next time.
Until next time. Poops.
Poops.